Hello, and welcome to the first in a series of videos from LearnGuitarYourself.com. First of all, congratulations, you've decided to learn this beautiful instrument. It's a fantastic thing. You'll gain hours and a lifetime of pleasure and satisfaction and a little bit of frustration. But it'll all be worth it, I promise you. Most of that frustration will be early on. The guitar is a difficult instrument to learn in the initial stages. Unlike a piano, we press the key, or many other instruments, we have to develop some very intricate, detailed, fine motor skills in order to simply get a note out of the thing. What we've done at LearnGuitarYourself.com is focus on gradually developing those fine motor skills. So we've made a few changes to the normal way of doing things when you learn guitar in order to help you slowly develop those skills. The first of those changes is we're going to tune your guitar slightly different. When you've learned to tune a guitar, usually people tune it in standard tuning, which is the normal tuning that people use so that they can play different scales and different keys and different chords. I'm going to use an open tuning. This one's open G or Spanish, and the reason that I use an open G tuning is that so that we can focus on one thing at a time. You're not going to be worried about your left hand if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed and your guitar's the other way around, my apologies. Just translate left for right, right for left every time that I use those words. So you're right-handed, then your left hand is the one that most people focus on. It's the one that, you know, all the crazy stuff happens on, and the right hand doesn't appear to do much, so you don't worry too much about it. The right hand's the important one. It's the one that hits the string, makes the noise. It's like the tyres on your car that attached to the road. If you've got bald tyres, it doesn't matter what else is going on in your car, you're not going to go too far. The same with your guitar playing. You can be crazy up here all over the place, but this is the hand that makes the noise, and it's the one that's the most important. We're going to be focusing on this lesson on learning the right hand skills, motor skills for finger pickers. Flat pickers, different kettle of fish. We'll cover that in another video, another tutorial. For now, we're just worrying about finger pickers. I use a thumb pick. That's just my preference. If you don't want to use a thumb pick, you don't have to. You can put it away. So we're tuned to open G tuning. What does that mean? Let's run through our guitar. I cover this in more detail in another video, but for now, if you've got your tuner, you can just use it to tune up. And this is where you want to be. D on the bass. D for dog. G on the next string. G for good. G for guitar. D again. That's a little bit out of tune, isn't it? G again. So let's run through that. D, G, D, G. Now a B. And another D on the top string. D, G, D, G, B, D. So when we play those strings together, we get a G major chord. So that allows me to do that. I can learn to fingerpick with my right hand while I'll save this one for later. There are plenty of other advantages to learning an open G tuning, and they'll become more evident as we continue through this initial training course. Okay, let's get your hand in the right position. I'll just move the camera down so you can see my hand a bit better and move up here. I've got my third finger there simply resting on the top string. It's tuned to D. A middle finger resting on the fifth string. First finger resting on the fourth string. So I play them together. That's the top three strings. The thumb resting on the second string that's tuned to G. Right? my hand is not resting with the heel of my palm there on the guitar. Try and avoid that. But we do. It is a good practice if you're going to learn finger picking to learn palm muting, which is a more advanced thing down the track. But if you don't get your hand in the right position to start with, palm muting is going to be very difficult. We use this part of our hand here on the bridge to slightly deaden the bass string so that we get that percussive sort of sound. Okay? The difference between no deadening and is there. So when you're first figuring out a position for your hand, we're not going to be too strict about it, but if you've got the side of your palm there over the bridge, that's going to be a help later on, and your fingers just resting on the strings for now. We're not going to be playing with those fingers just yet. Try and avoid curling them up. Okay, the thumb is pointing straight up the neck. It's not pointing into the guitar like that, but rather it's pointing straight up the neck, and it's positioned with your first finger so that if you were to pick them both, your fingers would come together like that. See if I can show the camera like that. So they're not pinching, but rather crossing each other. Okay? Like that. Okay. Now for this first lesson, we're just going to be focusing on your thumb. Right? Don't be too concerned about the rest of your hand. It'll come good. The main thing that we do need to worry about is that your thumb comes down cleanly and in time. If you have a metronome, set it to a nice moderate to slow tempo, say 90 beats per minute, and play each note in time accurately. Right? Try not to look down at your guitar. It doesn't matter if occasionally you hit the wrong string. Right? That is natural. That will come with practice. You will get that right eventually. What you do need to be able to do is play in time. If you can play very simple things in time, you'll sound like a musician. If you play very complicated things and your time's all over the place, you'll sound like a hack. If you try and play in time while you're talking, you'll stuff it up. Okay. Very simple, very basic. Okay, but you need to get that right before we can progress on. Okay. Try and avoid moving your whole hand out of the way. As you do it, just a simple movement like that. Okay. The next part of the lesson involves using your first finger as well. Okay. And we're going to do this. Thumb, finger, thumb, finger. So my thumb is playing a G on that second string. The finger is playing a G on the third string. And again we're in time. Tap your foot if that helps. Having a metronome to play along with will certainly make a difference. Okay. You don't need to do it too often. A couple of minutes a day is plenty. Remember, cross your finger and thumb. Okay, they're not pinching. Your hand is relaxed, your wrist is straight, your shoulder is relaxed. Okay, enjoy. I'll see you at the next one.